Gearbox's highly anticipated loot 10 of Borderlands 3 will be a 6-month Epic Games Store exclusive on PC. It's a notable addition to the growing number of Epic Games Store exclusives, with companies like Amity Entertainment, Control, Deep Silver, Metro Exodus, Heart Machine, Solar Edge, and Brace Yourself Games, Industries of Titan, all agreeing some form of exclusivity deal with Epic. The partnership means Steam users will have to wait until April 20th, to get their hands on the game, and publisher 2K explained the move came from a desirable embrace new distribution platforms. We are excited to be partnering with Epic, who recognize its worldwide popularity and sharing our commitment to bring Borderlands 3 to this rapidly expanding audience, commented 2K President David Ismail. Our mission, in addition to delivering the most engaging and captivating entertainment experiences, is to embrace new distribution platforms that will contribute to our effort to grow the audience for Borderlands 3. This interview is part of our Road to EF series. You can find the rest by clicking here. Hypnospace Outlaw takes players to the information superhighway of a 90s internet-inspired cyberspace, having them enforce the laws of this digital place. Battle hackers are decided to help its online populace. Gamasutra spoke with Jane Tholen, developer of the Excellence in Visual Art, Audio, and Sue Mass McNally Grand Prize-nominated GAM, to talk about the efforts that went into creating Hypnospace Outlaw's vision of the Internet, its inspirations from the age of the dream or digital utopias, and the difficulties of making a game about surfing and placing the net. I am the lead designer, writer, artist, and composer of Hypnospace Outlaw, Hypnospace. Most programming was handled by Mike Lush, while XALAVI and Elson Jimmer served as narrative designer and co-writer. My earliest game development experience was at age 11 upon finding a demo of Click Play in the goodies folder of a CD-ROM. When our family got the internet, I joined the Click community. Most of the skills I still use today come from that experience. My first commercial release was point-and-click adventure Jobsy, published by Devolver Digital in 2015. The idea for Hypnospace Outlaw can be traced back to Hypnospace Enforcer, a weird-twitchy, endless random micro game I made while developing Jobsy in 2014. Players tracked down outlaws on a colorful information superhighway to effectively ban them for various crimes. The outlaws would panic and send you messages as you pursued them, shedding light on the reasons behind their infractions. Hypnospace Outlaw was initially going to follow that route, with the operating system and internet bits acting as glorified level select screens, but we enjoyed the ASC bits so much that we decided to focus on those instead. GIFs of the ASC also gained much more traction when posted to social media. We have used Construct to develop the game and the page builder, and tool sequencer tools for it. That which is needed has developed a few extensions for us that allow C2 to do more than it could out of the box. The only downside to Construct right now is a lack of cost-effective porting options. The tools I have used to make content are as follows: Graphics, GIMP, Creator, Sprite, Bryce 5,
WinGS 3D,
SketchUp, CorelDRAW, Adobe PageMaker, Video, HitFilm, Adobe Premiere, Audio, Ableton Live 9 plugins, Ocean Audio, a $20 Spring Reverb tank, assorted cheapo FX battles and tomfoolery, other, Google Docs sheets, Trello. Hypnospace Outlaw is inspired by the impossible dream of virtual, utopias connected by information superhighways that the tech.com companies of the mid-late 1990s were using to sell their stuff. The 3D flick throws that often accompanied the ends of said companies consumed my fertile-kid imagination. In 1999, when I finally convinced my parents to invest in a dial-up internet subscription, I remember feeling light about the experience. It was still exciting being connected to people all over the world. But I kept wondering what website I had to find to access those psychedelic 3D worlds I do seeing so much of. Hypnospace is an attempt to capture this sense of disappointment. It explores both the feeling of an experience not living up to hype and the self-sabotage of looking back many years later through the rosy haze of nostalgia and forgetting the reality of things. While I wanted the game to evoke that old vibe, I wanted it to be recognizably Hypnospace, so I developed a design Bible thing for the art, audio, and writing that kept everything nice and cohesive. I am guessing it's this consistency that backed us its nominations for art and audio, because taken piece by piece, our visuals and sounds are often jarring, comically poorly rendered, or abrasive in some other way. There's also the hard rule that non-named real brands, celebrities, properties, or historic figures exist in Hypnospace. Music genres and art movements are also invented, and often do not have real-world counterparts, like flip-flop, birthdays, cool punk. Ideally, this LL make the game more culturally accessible in that there are not specific references to get first for content to be funny or relatable. This game is not for people who grew up in the 1990s. Initially, I was attempting to use period-accurate video-audio codecs that proved not marish given the amount of content in Hypnospace. So I developed processes that I could do without opening up Windows
98
virtual machine every time I needed to implement artwork. A large portion of Hypnospace's graphics are color-reduced to a Hypnospace-safe palette using full Steinberg dithering. Most audio is crunched down to 64 kbps using an MP3 encoder from 1999. We aired on the site of readability in cases where graphics or sounds would become hard to distinguish after being processed. After a year of development, Hypnospace contained a robust operating system, browsable internet network, and page builder music sequencer tools to fill out said internet, but no game elements. In Hypnospace Outlaw, players serve as volunteer moderators of Hypnospace, a pro-social media network that functions as a cross between GeoCities and MySpace. It became painfully clear that we could not sell the illusion of an active, living, social media network with our initial story concepts. A game about the internet is also dangerous for designers, because you can justify almost anything. If it exists and can be accessed on a computer, you can make a good argument for why it has to be in the game. As a result, we brought Xavier Nelson Jr. on as narrative designer. His direction helped us immensely, though creating a satisfying car progression loop out of the whole thing still took months of iteration. Most of Hypnospace's weird software was conceived as, would not it be cool if discussions between Mike Lush, Hypnospace's programmer, and I, these kinds of tinkerly, missable, playful elements were something I felt we should emphasize to hopefully encourage curiosity in folks watching streams. Let's Plays, Dropsy, my last game, was a one-sitting experience, and there is not much value in playing it yourself if you have just watched the whole thing on YouTube. My favorite is the soundscape generator. It generates soundscapes based on how much a player is clicking, scrolling, typing, and can even trigger semi-randomized vibrato, tremolo, and delay effects, as well as arpeggios. Players can mod in their own tool. Pool players can mod most of the things in the game. The data files are accessible and open. Merchantsoft, the company that runs Hypnospace, is inspired by the field-specific Railroad 1990 as tech startups whose leaders were completely winging it after achieving freak success, in spite of the police-flavored language and forced detainment.